evening, everyone. A little technical difficulty going on, but we got this thing.
You are what you are and where you are because of what you allow to go into your mind.
You cannot become what you need to be by remaining what you are.
If you can't take a huge step to begin with, take as big a step as you can, but take it now. That's the key. Take it now.
And you can have everything in life you want if you'll just be willing to help enough people get what they want.
Today's a brand new day, and it's yours.
I like that.
I like that too. That's
awesome.
our mantra. We ripped that off from Zig Ziglar. But Zig Ziglar's a great teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome to today's show. So what's the real truth? I'm Mark Stevenson.
And I'm Tamala Odom.
And we're so glad to have you here right before the holiday.
Yes, it is. Merry Christmas to you.
I don't celebrate Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Well,
yes, I do. Let me tell you like it is. I know. I've been asked this the last few days. They've been asking me, since you're a Muslim, are you celebrating Christmas? Mm-hmm. Well, I think that it's really a spiritual season. You know, I'm not thinking about this guy coming down the chimney
right.
and bringing a bunch of gifts and a bunch of fables and stuff. I'm thinking about the positiveness that's in the air and the love that's going around right now. And I'm also thinking about the end of the year and capping things off and having hope that next year is going to be better.
That's important. And I think you're on to something there. Having hope that next year will be better and maybe there will be some sort of rebirth. And I think that's an excellent segue into our broadcast for this evening.
Absolutely. And in fact, we want you to know this is a live call-in television show, so make sure that you call in the numbers right at the bottom of the screen here, and you can join in with us because we're going to be asking for your help to answer a couple of key questions. Mm-hmm. And the first one being...
Is that my cue?
That's your cue.
Okay. Our first question this evening is, do you think 2017 will bring a higher or lower murder rate? And I'm assuming we're talking about gun violence when we're talking about murder.
Guns, knives, baseball bats, any way you want to do it.
And that's a good question. So if you are listening and watching our broadcast this evening and you have something to share with us, feel free to give us a call here. As Captain Mark mentioned, our phone number is below, and we want to hear what you have to say on our first question. What do you think 2017 is going to bring? Is it going to bring higher crime rate, or do you think there's going to be something that's going to happen in 2017 that's going to bring a lower crime rate or lower murder rate?
Now, our second question that we want to ask you is, what do you think that you need to do to police your own community? Is it possible? What are the ways to police your own community? Do we need to police to take care of us?
That's a very good question, and I have my personal opinions, but I certainly want to hear what our viewers have to say. So feel free to give us a call and weigh in on our questions for this evening.
And get off the couch. I know that you're lazy and you're sitting there criticizing. I can feel you judging us right now. Yes, you're judging us right now, but that's okay. We can't hear your criticisms.
Call us and tell us about it, right?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. But you know, I was taking a look at some of the crime statistics, and where else would I go but to the Chicago Police Department's website?
That's a good place to go.
I think that makes a little bit of sense. And so we want to share something with you. This is how you are supposed to be able to find out some information, and some information from the horse's mouth. The Chicago Police Department has a website at homechicagopolice.org. Now, I want you to take a look at their method of giving us information. Over here on the left side are the different categories, and I'm going to blow this up so that you can see this.
The first one is cold cases. I wonder how many are under that tab.
Well, with 85, 90% of the murders going unsolved, there's a lot of cold cases. Of course, for some of the victims, they just assume that they are the type of people that they don't want to pour the resources into to try and find out. And if you take a look down here, you have crime statistics. And I'm going to click on this, and we're going to come back to this in a
Okay.
second. But I just had to show you the crime statistics, and we're going to talk about some of these things, but they are not up to date. It only goes to November 2014. And this is a fresh site. I'm not making it up.
Oh,
Look,
wow.
November 2014.
But I will say, as you're looking at that, I did hear something on the news this yesterday, believe it or not, that yesterday was the fourth day in Chicago where there were no murders.
You know,
4 days in a row.
someone
So
actually
that's
told
great.
me that like it's the best day in the world. The best thing to ever hit the news that we didn't have murders for 4 days in a row.
Yeah, especially when you have almost 700 in 1 year. I'll take those 4 days. I will.
Absolutely. We have a caller that has called in, and we'd like to hear what do you think your truth is. Welcome to today's show.
Yes, good evening. And I would like to say, I hope for 2017 that we can market our good families, our great kids who are enormous, bright, and articulate in things that they do, and start showing them as role models. Because we as adults don't seem to be getting it over to our kids, even in our own neighborhood. Our kids are not listening to us. And then do we wonder why?
Well,
That's my hope.
and that's a
Go ahead, sir.
great comments. We want you to ponder and think about our questions of the day too. Do you think that we can police our own community? Do you think we can get our young people to help us to police our own community?
Yes, you can. All we have to do is take a look in the mirror at ourselves and question us first. You know, we always want to claim we got the leadership. But as we look around, we're getting older, we're getting selfish, and we're not sharing, and we're not caring. And the kids are seeing this.
Absolutely.
But I
Thank
wonder
you.
if it's because people are afraid to do that. Because if you think about it, this day and time is very different. Where before, maybe a few decades ago, maybe one or two decades ago, you could go to someone who lived across the way from you and borrow a cup of sugar. You didn't mind your children playing with the neighbor's children. But right now, we operate in silos. And I wonder if we become more selfish because people are afraid even in their own communities, in their own buildings, in their own neighborhoods, where if it's not in the comfort of their own four walls, they're afraid. I wonder if that's the reason why people have become more selfish, as our caller said.
Wow, that's a great possibility.
And the second thing is, I wonder if we really need to be policed, because I'm just using myself as an example. I don't wake up in the morning thinking of committing a crime, right? And I don't necessarily have to have someone to tell me to do the right thing every day. So should the focus be on building us to be better people, or should it be focused on policing ourselves? I think we're looking at it in the wrong way. We're always talking about discipline, and from that aspect, maybe it's a matter of building ourselves first, and then the policing will come automatically.
That's a thought, because we certainly have been trying the policing method first, and nothing's worked so far. There's another caller, Tamala.
See what our caller has to say.
Welcome to today's show.
Yes, and good evening to y'all guys, and also happy holiday to all your listeners, a safe day and a wonderful holiday, and Merry Christmas to everyone. You know, I just heard two excellent questions. One was the young lady asked about why the kids won't listen to the adults or they kids, and number two, what you just said was how many times in your lifetime, I know, well, people wake up every day and wants to be a chaos agent. Let me see what I could go out here and do wrong. That's something. To the first question, it's real simple. Sometimes people need to look in the mirror. If you're that scared of what you got in your house, you need to get that out of your house and let somebody come and deal with that person in that house. That's number one. Number two, ain't that amazing how people just lay in their bed and say, what I'm going to do. Now, when I was young, you used to see people doing that thing would be somebody addicted to drugs, must got to go out and get that fix. Then you had kids used to go outside and play cops and robbers or things of that nature, but reality comes right back to you. Let me tell you now, it's not fantasy, it's reality. This is what people want to do. Now, y'all two asked a question what we could do possibly, and I'm going to say one thing that could maybe might fit both of those questions. My program teaches me this. Every year, I want to be better than I was last year. Each day of my life, I want to be better than I was the day before. Sometimes I fall short, but one thing for sure, I keep on trying. I don't lay in the damn ground and pity-pat and say, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I get up and I try to do better. Policing the areas, let me tell you something. Only a person that don't know what's going on in their neighborhood is a person who hides in the closet. They don't know, they don't see, they don't hear. I could expect them to don't know nothing. But if you travel your community, you know your community, you know what goes on in your area. If you don't know their name, you know where they at, you know where they be at. So a lot of times people don't say nothing until what? When it happened to them. Then they want to cry. Come on, Chuck. Why you do that? Chuck Nuck, why you do this? And woo, woo,
Should,
woo. And, yeah, what they should do?
what should they do?
Hey,
What should,
Mark, I'm going to ask you
if you
this.
know where they are?
I lost my son. I lost my son December the 20th, 1985. He was killed out here in the neighborhood. I had another son shot. Let me tell you, I know what I did. I know what I would do. People need to ask their own self, what would you do? What would you do? That's the problem. What are you willing to do? Mark, I saw you on TV one time, and you know what I'm talking about. And the only person that was talking anything was you. You didn't act like you were scared, but you talked. Let me tell you, the day that we start getting scared, and I'll show you that we are scared, the people have 10 locks on their doors. They have security cameras everywhere, all up on the roof, on the camera. The police got the cameras, and that's a shame. The cameras don't resolve anything. Tamara, you said something at the beginning of the thing, cold cases. Mark, you went to 2014. How many cases from 2014 up until we come into the end of 16, how many cold cases have been resolved? I don't believe in everything they see. I don't believe in everything I read.
A lot there. You gave us a lot
Yeah,
there, and
some
we
good stuff.
appreciate your
Yeah.
call. Thank you for
All right, and hey, Mark, maybe get a chance to see you one day Friday over there.
absolutely. You know,
All right.
talking about Pamela
Yeah.
and seeing me on television was there was a triple murder over by my house, and when the police came and the cameras came, and you know I was staying in the background, of course, with everyone else, but I was asking all of my neighbors, what happened? What happened? What happened? Nobody would share it with me. And
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute, if you all won't share this with me, and I'm your neighbor, I
Yeah.
know you're not sharing this with the police.
Yeah.
This is why we have the problem now. You're scared to talk to the police, the very people who are here to protect us, so called, that you won't even talk to them. But there was a survey that our producer, Ed Tarver, was telling us about earlier today. And the survey was among young people. They asked the question, what are the reasons that you think that there's so much crime going on in your community? And the three top reasons were that they were bored, that they didn't have any money, and that they had guns.
So because the guns were accessible, why not commit crimes? And because we don't have anything else to do, because we're bored, we don't have arts and music and such. So that's why our crime rate's high. I can see that. I want to address that after we take our caller.
Go ahead.
Okay, caller, what do you have to say?
Hello, am I on the air?
Yes, you're on the air.
What I have to say is, okay, I'm from the old school, and what happened, we let kids and grown folks business. Kids are doing things they have no business doing nowadays. But I think one of the major things with the new administration, if he does what he promises and he puts jobs out here, that'll alleviate at least half of the crimes right there, and we separate the poor and the people who really need something from the real criminals. I think that's part of it right there.
I think our caller is correct. I think one of those top reasons because there aren't any jobs. I think that's important. And to take it a step further, I think our youth who are committing these crimes don't have the skills needed to hold down a job. So it goes back to education. Oftentimes you find a lot of our youth have dropped out of school for whatever the reason is. Maybe the curriculum isn't challenging enough. Maybe they don't feel that the school that they attend, the teachers and administration does not care about them.
Yes.
So they find themselves on the streets. But I think it really has something to do with looking at after school programs, looking at the education reform initiatives and seeing if it's really making an impact. Last week on the show, we talked about a law that Senator Kwame Raoul is looking to propose in Springfield, where he wants to see stiffer penalties for those who have committed some kind of gun offense. So if you have a gun offense on your record and you commit another one, he is proposing longer prison sentences. And I mentioned last week, I think that is a concern because he doesn't talk about reform. He doesn't talk about trying to prevent these issues or prevent the gun violence. He's saying if you get caught, you're going to serve more time. And I don't know if he has all of the support from the elected officials in Springfield, but this is what he wants to do. And our top cop, Eddie Johnson, is in favor of this. So I think
lock them up, and throw
and
it
throw
away
away
the
the
key.
But this is my concern: the young people that they're talking about locking them up and throwing away the key looks just like those two.
Well,
Black
I have, I want to end it. Jail is a business. That's why they want to lock everybody up.
is a what?
We need to do it.
No.
Jail is a business.
Is a business. Mm-hmm.
yeah, jail is.
Right, jail is a business. And they make money off of all the people that they lock up, which is mostly us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we need to do a better job of educating the youth of what's really going on with their lives. They want them to sell drugs. They want them to go to jail. They make money off that. It's a whole system that lives off their pain. Yeah.
I agree with
Thank
that.
you for
Yeah.
your call.
Thank
We
you. I think that's a
appreciate
new
you
caller
calling.
too. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to go back to some of these statistics because they don't make a lot of sense to me, Pamela. When I take a look at this supposedly up to date, it's not even up to date. Who's
Oh, sorry. I'm putting.
that's okay. Who's the current superintendent?
Ouch! Come on,
Oh,
CPD.
come on, CPD. You
Come
gotta
on, CPD.
as much as we pay taxes, much money as you all are collecting from us, you need to update the
At
police
least.
website.
Wow.
My goodness, and to have statistics that are only going to November 2014. What are you hiding from us? I don't like what I'm seeing at all. And when I go to and that was when I clicked on the tab of crime statistics. I'm not making this up. This is live. You don't believe me?
Go to your
Go
site,
to home.chicagopolice.org and you'll find out for yourself. It's really some bad information that we're getting. I understand that we're at about 755 murders this
now.
year.
Yeah, we've almost doubled murder rates that we've seen in years past. That's unfortunate. You want to take our next caller?
Sure.
Okay, caller, you're on the air. What do you have to say?
Yes, good evening. You know what? The key thing is we got laziness. We need to go back to the old school. When I grew up, we had more dedication. We had dedication from the teachers, from the police. We had dedication all around us, from the nosy neighbors.
Nosy neighbors,
But you
that's
know
right.
what? Nosy neighbors worked because oftentimes a lot of things
You're, ri-
I do because I knew the lady across the street with her nosy self was gonna tell on me.
That's a fact. And
you're absolutely right, and these things are still should be available now. And with that nosy neighbor, that's how you build respect.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
You earn respect. Because when you cut up, and as you talk about the policemen, I grew up right there by the 48th Street Police Station, 48th and Wabash. If you cut up in school, you had to go to 48th Street Station on a Saturday and learn some good qualification being a good neighbor, because you didn't mess around out in the street.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah.
So we need to bring some of that stuff back. And just like you say, you pull up all that stuff, you can't even make it out because we got lazy workers today.
Yeah.
We need better workers. We fight for them to get jobs,
Yeah.
but they don't do their jobs. We need to go back and revisit that and keep up the good work. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. And I love all that you're doing at CAN TV. Thank you much.
That's
you
a
so
new caller
much.
too, so
Sure,
thank you for calling
sure.
in this evening. Good points. You know, I just wanted to express this. I think you're right about, I think our caller is right about we need to, instead of policing, so to speak, we need to build stronger communities and where people feel trusted in their communities. But nowadays, if someone says something, and I've seen this with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears, where someone is trying to give a child some direction, it's lights out for that person because that parent wants to fight, cuss, even with our
You
teachers.
can't touch my child.
Yeah, and you
Didn't
know,
we just have something like that on the news? But then it turned to something racial, where 7-year-old boy threw some garbage down, and a white guy said, "No, you don't do that over here." But he grabbed the boy, and Mama got upset, called the police. The police came and wrestled Mom down to the ground.
oh, so I saw that story and I didn't click on it. The
Yeah.
news.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Absolutely. But
wow,
you know
wow.
what, Tamala? I distinctly remember being a young person myself, and during that time, if a person did something like snatch a purse, the men in the community would come out and find that person. They would find that person. And that person would rather have the police catch them
Yeah.
before the men in the community catch them.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that we need to step up and police our own community and be nosy neighbors. Absolutely.
Any cost and building stronger communities and working together and not looking at the person that lives next door to you as opposition or
That's
competition.
opposition.
That's right, but looking at that as an extended family because it truly does take a village to raise a child,
have to help.
especially when most of our parents in our communities, urban communities, are single parents and you have several children. You need as much help as you can. So that's just my 2 cents. That's my truth for this evening, and I hope that 2017 brings about a change where people can recognize that we need each other in order for us to be able to bring down these murder rates, whether it's outdated murder rates or whatever the murder rates are for right now.
Well, you know, this has been a great show, and I know that we just try and bite into it as much as we can with the little time that we have. But I appreciate you, and thank you so much for stepping up last week and taking the show. I lost my father-in-law, the smartest man I ever knew in my life, Edward Butler. And I'm telling you, we're going to miss him something terrible. We dedicate this show to him.
Yes. And last week, my great aunt's memorial service, 92 years old, and she never missed our broadcast when she was alive. So we want to also make sure that we think good thoughts about my family as we continue to mourn that heavy loss in our family, but we know that she's in a better place.
Absolutely.
And the memories, oh my goodness, the memories we have of Miss Lois Upchurch, my great aunt.
Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Mark Stevenson.
And I'm Tamala Odom.
We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Mama, get the coffee ready. The kid's on his way.